And my hair's in a claw clip because my hair just looked like poo poo doo doo caca. Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Corie. I am a high school I am a high school family and consumer sciences teacher, but I love all things beauty and lifestyle, so you get a little bit of everything here on my channel. Today, this was requested a long time ago. That person probably doesn't even watch my videos anymore, but it was requested to talk about how me and my husband were able to buy our house when we were 22 years old. We were both 22 when we closed on our house. So I made a list on my phone of some of the ways that we actively made a conscious effort to buy our home and be prepared to buy our home. And then I also wanted to talk about what our loan was and when we were actually in the process of buying a home, how we went about that, because I think that's something that not a lot of people talk about that often. So the first thing that I want to talk about is paying rent. It's an inevitable expense that we all have to pay. So when me and Trevor first got married, we lived for 6 months in an apartment and then we moved out of that place. It was nice when we were first married as brand new newlyweds to have that first few months to be living on our own. And the rent was very reasonable. I believe it was like $350 a month, which is like nothing. And then we moved in with my parents, which is not completely ideal for everybody. For example, we didn't have our own kitchen, so we had the entire basement to ourselves, but we didn't have a kitchen. It worked out very well for me and Trevor. We got very close with my parents, and it wasn't like we were living with my parents. It was more just 4 people who lived together. It was very comfortable, and we all got super, super close. Me and my mom were already best friends. You guys know that. We have a podcast together. So that was like fine, but we were a little bit worried about Trevor getting comfortable with my family, but it actually ended up being totally, and we did end up paying rent while we were there. I think we lived with my parents for a year until we bought our house, and then they charged us rent. I'm pretty sure they just kept our rent the same as when we were in the apartment, so it was $350, which is so dirt cheap compared to some other rent I know. A big one was very, very cheap rent, the cheapest that we could find. I know that that's not really plausible for everybody, but just saving every single penny that you can. So we just saved every single penny. That was our main savings. We paid our bills and then we saved everything. There was not really any frivolous spending. We just put everything that we earned into a savings account until we got to the amount that we wanted our down payment to be. The amount that we had for our down payment was $20,000. So, and I know, again, there's a lot of different loan options. Not everybody has to have $20,000 to put down. We really wanted a conventional home loan, and in order to do that, we had our $20,000 down payment. The other thing that we did in order to save for our $20,000 down payment, besides just socking away every spare penny that we had, was we stayed debt free. So me and Trevor, the only debt that we have is our house. The way that we do that, we always pay cash for cars, don't use our credit cards. I mean, we use our credit cards, but mostly for like the points, and then we pay it off with our savings immediately. We never spend money that we don't have. So we stay debt free. Trevor goes to school on tuition waivers and scholarships, so he goes to school completely debt free. My parents were generous enough to help me with my schooling, so I am debt free from college. So we don't have any debt, which I would highly recommend. The other thing that I would recommend is building good credit, because when you are applying for a home loan, they will look at your credit to see, hey, do you have a history of credit? Are you used to making payments on loans of any kind, credit cards or a car loan or anything like that? They look for things like that. So I know I just said stay debt free. There's lots of ways that you can build credit without getting into debt. So one way that I started building good credit, I started building my credit when I was still in high school. I'm a little bit crazy, and when I was still in high school, I was thinking about wanting to buy a house. And so I started building my credit when I was in high school. I had my mom co-sign on a credit card with me, and then I just put it in my wallet and I never used it. You just having an open credit card and letting it sit and do nothing builds good credit. The other thing that I did was I took out a loan. I believe it was just a signature loan. So I got a lump sum of cash. I put that lump sum of cash in a savings account, and then I set up automatic payments to the loan. So I didn't use the money for anything, but it was like a year and a half long loan. and those payments just came out automatically. And by showing payments regularly and on time every single month, that helps to build good credit as well. So I'd highly recommend doing those things to build your credit. So those were the things that we did that I can like really give tips on how we bought our house, how we got ready to buy our house. So we saved up our $20,000 down payment. We waited until I got my big girl job teaching and we knew what my salary was going to be. Once we knew what my salary was going to be, we sat down and we calculated what we were going to be bringing in monthly. And we then subtracted what all of our bills were, what we wanted to put into savings still, and then what was left was what we were comfortable with our mortgage payment being. Then we went to our mortgage officer and we said, this is what we're comfortable with our payment being. This is what we have for a down payment, $20,000. How much house can we afford? And then they told us. And then we got pre-qualified for our loan, and that's when we got a realtor. Now, if you are buying a house, get a realtor. It is free to you. In all of your closing costs, the seller is the one who pays all the realtor fees, including the buyer. So it is to your benefit to go get a realtor, and especially with the housing market the way that it is now, we would not have been able to get a house by ourselves without a realtor. So I would highly recommend going and getting a realtor for yourself. So we went and got our realtor and then looked at a bajillion houses because the market is just crazy, putting offers in on everything. And then finally we put in an offer on our home that we own. The offer was accepted, and then we closed on our house. Now, I told you guys we did a conventional loan. The one thing that I would really recommend is calculate your monthly cost of living and figure out how much you're going to spend on internet, on food, on water, on electricity, on just guesstimate and guess high, because then you can always put extra into savings. But go into buying a house knowing what you're willing to spend on a mortgage payment, because a mortgage officer's job is to get you into as much debt as possible. They want you to get as much house as possible so that they get the commission. So it's to their benefit to put you in the hole. So I would really recommend figuring out what you're comfortable paying first and telling them so that you know what you're getting into and you know that you can afford it. So my top tips: save up a massive down payment as long as it takes. If you're renting for a while, it's okay. If you're really desperate to get into a house, there are lots of no down payment or low down payment loan options that might be a good fit for you. Like I said, me and Trevor were in a very special circumstance where we were able to do a conventional loan. Get debt free. I would say get debt free before you even start looking into buying a home. Get debt free. And then I would also recommend reading Dave Ramsey's books and listening to his podcast. He is an excellent financial advisor, and me and Trevor follow his program. So I would highly recommend that. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. I know it was short and quick, but I like videos that have tips in them to be kind of snappy. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions about me and my husband buying a home when we were 22 years old, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you have not already, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye guys.